Hi YouTube. I hope you're doing good. I'm doing all right. Can't complain, or maybe I shouldn't even if I could. You know how that goes. Hey, the other day I was trying to think of something. It's like, because I was going through a lot of stress with my kids and whatever. But I was trying to remember an article I had read. It was about a monolith that they built over in Tasmania, of all places, that they spent like $3 trillion on this thing. It's metal, and it looks like a triangle sitting in the ground and then sort of angled at the top and sort of like squared off like that. It's really weird. And it's made out of metal. They didn't say what type of metal. I'm assuming like a metal alloy that doesn't rust. Um, like it's uh, poly something metal. It might come to me, but anyway, the point of it is this thing is the size, the quarter of a football field. And so, what it's for is to record the ending of the civilization of mankind. I just thought that was really weird. Like, are they anticipating something? Yeah, with their agendas, they most certainly are hoping for something, but um, they're not going to get their wish like that anyway. So, yeah, that's what I was trying to think of the other day. You might have seen that puzzled look on my face, like, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm saying or trying to say today. It's like, you couldn't think of anything to say, but that's what I was going to say, and I could not think of it for the life of me. So I'm glad I thought yesterday I was kind of still not feeling the greatest. So it's like, well, the first thing I'm going to tell them is about that Tasmania thing. Now, I don't know how many people are in their country, but for their scientists to be able to fund that type of money with that tiny little country, wow, that's a lot of taxpayers' money from their country going into something that in their foreseeable future will never be used, most likely. And who are they going to record it for? If everybody's gone, if the demise of the human civilization all over the planet and they've got this like information, I don't know if it's a supercomputer or if it's some kind of conductor solar energy or really actually how it worked. It didn't say didn't really give any of the pertinent details to the mechanisms of the whole thing. It just looked like a big red square type rectangle stuck into the ground and then pointing towards the sky. So I have no clue. And I couldn't see any rivets on it where it had, like rivets on metal or whatever, which they could have ground down and coated it with the paint or whatever too. But, and they didn't say how thick the steel was or um, what type of metal alloy was used in it. Those are things that I'd kind of like to know. Just what do they think is going to weather some kind of catastrophe that we might have on this planet that would last eons or God knows how long. I just found it all kind of a little bit interesting, strange, but interesting. Um, Sean Baker was reading about a new study about how meat people that eat protein, like with your hormones, especially in women, that you have lower cholesterol. And he checked because he didn't know the answer to it. Him and another doctor were talking about it. Which was better for us, like a lean cut of meat or like his ribeye. So they tested a ribeye versus a sirloin, and come to find out that the trans fats, people that eat like the fattier cut of meat, literally have more strength at the end of their lives. In the beginning of your lives, if you're eating like the sirloin and it's a leaner cut of meat, your body performs better. So, take out of that whatever you get. That's pretty much what that study said. So, yeah, just some interesting things, and it is freezing out. It's literally this morning in some places in our state it was like 45 below with the wind chill. It was like probably 20 below without it, but I went out to feed those kitties and put some corn in the bird feeder, and the woodpeckers visited a lot, and in the winter, oh, and in the summer, but also the chickadees and other little winter faring fowl around here. So, yeah. So anyway, boy, I seen the karma train get somebody. I knew it's going to happen too. It's like, wow, when you do something stupid, you do pay for it. We all do, you know. So yeah, seen somebody get theirs, and it's like, wow, I didn't even wish no bad. You don't have to. You really don't. You just like put it in God's hands. And well, there's times too though that you do have to take matters in your own hands. That's, if it depends on the situation and who's involved and whatnot. If it's friends, hopefully you'll be able to work things out without any karma interaction or any other type. So, but with strangers out there, it's like, wow, if you have like a troll on YouTube or somebody, like, okay, here is for instance, is a no baloney. I had these Sater twins, and some of you might know who they are. They're musicians, goofballs, whatever, from Canada. But this one dude was calling me a witch, and they're twins. Or I already said that. Well, he ended up getting beat up, and he had a broken arm. It was like maybe a week after somebody jumped him. It's like, wow. And I didn't wish him no harm, but, things just happen. And then just somebody else recently pretty much screwed me over, and they ended up getting their truck all scratched to shit. Brand new truck, beautiful, depreciated in value. Even if you have the body work done on it, it's not going to be as valuable as it used to be, which is really a bummer. And I didn't wish that on nobody either. But yeah. Now there is one time I wished something and it did happen, but that was an intentional thing, just to show them kind of like when I put something out in the ether, it's out there. And whatever happens after that, I can't help it. That's not on me. So, and then if you don't do wrong to people, you don't have anything to worry about. I, for one, am not big on having to watch my back or wonder what's going to happen next in my life. There's always enough something going on in the world without us initiating any of it. So, excuse me a moment. So, anyway, yeah, today is not too bad of a day. I had a really good supper last night. I made some beefy rice with a roast beef and a nice salad, and that was great. Tonight, Doug wants garlic buttered shrimp and mushrooms. So, and I'm allergic to both of them. So I'm going to have to try and eat something else and just have a tiny little bit so I don't choke to death or anything. So, yeah, my throat will start swelling up, and I have plastic in my throat right here and right here from having my tonsils out. I was the first plastic surgery for tonsils in North Memorial Hospital in Minneapolis when I was a kid. And I woke up during that surgery too. They didn't give me enough anesthesia and they had to give me more. That's happened to me like 3 times in my life. The last operation I had, the woman took the air off me and started talking to Doug. And while they were talking, I was my air supply was cut off. I couldn't breathe on my own yet. It was too soon after the operation. So it's like, oh, great. That was for a deviated septum and then getting infected from all my allergies and being carbon monoxide poisoned and all my hair fell out and I almost died and just a trip. But yeah, I'm almost 100%. And I will be to the people that want to see that one leg exercise I'm talking about. I'm getting there. Um, for me to get up in front of the camera and show y'all. I do have a video where I'm doing, I don't think I did a roundhouse. I think I did, what did I do? I think just a front kick. I think it was a jump and a kick, or a kick and a jump. I can't remember, but it was like something just to show you my balance. And it's like, and I can kick over, well, about almost 7 feet in the air. And if I go running into it, I can do a lot more than that. But I'm just saying, you know. So it is good to stay healthy as you get older because, especially limber and strong, your strength training and everything, it's so important. It's vital. It really is. I know people my age that are like walking around in canes and wheelchair bound and everything else. It's like, holy smokes, people, get up and jump around or dance or do something, you know? You have to. If you don't use it, you're going to lose it, you know? That's a fact. So, anyway, old people, they're crazy. Yeah, they really are. I don't know why anybody would want to sit there and just stagnate. It's like, get up and go for a walk. That's the least you can do. I'm going to be putting on, Doug got, one of them wrist things, and you can hook it up to your smartphone and whatever to show you how many steps that you move. And I told him, what if you just go like this? Because it goes on his wrist, and he tried it, but it's tracked by GPS, so that didn't work. You actually have to take the steps. So I said, otherwise, you could just sit there and like, So, but nope, that doesn't work. I forget what you call it, like tactometer or something. I'm not sure. I'm going to read it. I'm going to read the instructions on it and put it on because I know just from working in the hospitals that we would put on about 13 miles a day just walking around taking care of people. So um, lots of jobs I had that I was really active. Well, like ranch hand. That that was about the most strenuous one, but my most enjoyable. You know, I loved I love horses and I love cattle and even working with sheep or I don't work with goats. Don't do goats. Sorry, people. They're cute when they're little, but I just can't get beyond the smell of them and their habits, like the what do you call them boys? Peeing in their mouths and stuff when they get bored or they're in heat. I just can't get past that. It's like, no, sorry, not my thing. Billies, or there's another name for a boy goat too. My sister would know. If you're on here, Ebony, you know, most likely. And yes, your goats are cute. And if I was there and anything happened to you and your goats needed to be fed, I would take care of the little things. Don't worry. I'm not like that, you know. It's like, no, I don't hate them. I just don't like them very much. I prefer sheep because they're just sweet. If I considered getting some sheep just to eat up the grass around the house now that Dusty's gone, but if I did, I'd just get one of them woolly ones with the long hair, and you don't have to shear their wool. You can just give them like a haircut. But then I'm allergic to lanolin, so I wouldn't even be able to pet it or anything. So it's like just like my kitty. I kiss her once a day. She's trained now. She's been in the house, I think, about 3 weeks, and she's getting really good at knowing I'll give her a kiss and a hug before I get in the shower. And she has her own bed, and she doesn't bug me, and she's really smart and good like that. Just like my cat that just died 20 years, you know. She was the same way. In fact, I think this one's a little more obedient. Maybe. Bathsheba was a good girl though, my last one. This one is. She's precious. They all are. I love animals actually. In fact, if somebody gave me a baby goat, I'd probably fall in love with it and get beyond the smell. you know. But I still don't want one. So don't get any sneaky ideas if somebody knows me. Nope, not doing it. Even raising pigs, I did, but I'm not really. They're okay, and they're sweet, and they're really smart. But yeah, no, no thanks, no more. So I adopted a pot-belly pig. That wasn't my first pig, but Miss Piggy, they got her because they thought she was a miniature potbelly, and she ended up being about probably close to 350, 400 pounds, So, oh, not Miss Piggy, that was mine. Oreo. She was black on each end and white in the middle, so they called her Oreo. And they had her in the house, these two little girls, for the longest time until they had to move, and then they were looking for a place, somebody to adopt their pig. So I did, but not in the house. We had a 30 by 30 cattle panel dog kennel for a Newfoundland Great Dane mix. So after he died, Miss Piggy got to go in his kennel in his house, and she was comfortable. She lived a pretty happy life to the end of her years. So let's see. I think there was one more study. Let me see if I. Maybe not. What do you think about all the truckers going up to, I think it's Ottawa, Canada? Do you think that they're going to make any headway or make a difference in the mandates and food supplies and anything else that's going on? I personally don't, because the governments around the world have their agendas, and they're either going to back down with their crap or they're not. And I don't see them backing down. This has been in play, people think decades. I'm saying hundreds of years ago, people of the satanic mindset got together and started implementing things that would affect future generations, and they're always after the children. They're always after the little hearts and minds of the little people and the younger adults to try and sway their better judgment into being still like slaves to them, because it's just like nobody owns the oil and the water that God gave us and all the riches on this planet. It belongs to every single human being except for the monsters of this world that are greedy, that will use people and all the resources in the world to better their lives, and the heck with the little guy. And that's what some of us are fighting about. It's like, well, hey, I don't want you to do that to my grandchildren and everybody else's kids. Nope, sorry, I'm not shutting up, you know. So, yeah. Excuse me a moment. I'll light a cigarette and talk to you a little more. So, yeah. And it is disgusting. If people really knew all the money, their money, your money, that's going into literally hurting other human beings and keeping control over them as slaves in this world, you would be appalled. You know, these, like I say, these misleaders in the world, they don't sit down to their martinis and filet mignon and um listening to Beethoven, or no offense to anybody, I like Beethoven too, whatever, occasionally. Um, prefer Metallica or Godsmack, Voodoo. No, just kidding. But that is a good song. But anyway, they're not sitting there discussing us. They're discussing how they can use us. That's all they care about. It's as simple as that. And they are warmongering, power hungry, greedy, and inbred for the most part. Even people thought Trump was an outsider. He's only 7 generations removed from the Queen. That means they're seventh cousins, you know? So, and that's a fact. And as I was saying in some other videos, England really isn't England. If you go, all roads lead back to Rome. Well, not necessarily. All roads literally lead back to the Slavic nations, like Bohemian Grove is named after. There's a reason for that. These like skull and bones societies, and I'm not going to say just the Masons because they're a little smaller on the list than actually the ones that would be the controllers of the situation. They're just kind of pretty much pawns and usable and disposable. And they all really, really do sign up to be disposable for Satan. So, yeah, be aware of who is in your neighborhood. Look where your Masonic lodges are. Any of these clubs and lodges, um, who do you think they're lodging in there, in their hearts? And just be aware who you're around, and if they're selling anything, if they're merchants of stores in your area, learn who they are. It's important. It's for your safety because, yeah, they'll do anything to benefit themselves. That's what they do. So, anyhow, well, I really don't know too much more than that today. Um, What's the weather like in your neck of the woods, if you have woods, or by the ocean, or mountains, or flatlands, deserts, wherever you all at? Um, uh, yeah, I don't mind the cold so bad. Um, if you're dressed for it when you go out. I really wasn't this morning. I just sort of like threw my jacket on and ran out really quick a couple times, and that was about it. So, but okay, everybody, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you for joining me. If you haven't subscribed, think about it. You never know what I'm gonna say. That's one thing very surprising about me. I hardly ever know what I'm gonna say. No, I do, literally. Um, yeah, I do. Okay, everybody, thank you. Give me a thumbs up. Okay, peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Have a good night or day wherever you're at.